Jean-Jacques Rousseau's The Social Contract, published in 1762, is one of the most influential works of political philosophy ever written. Rousseau's treatise has left a profound mark on modern thinking about government, politics, and the nature of authority. The central theme of the work is Rousseau's belief in the fundamental tension between human freedom and political order. His famous assertion that man is born free, and everywhere he is in chains, sums up his criticism of existing social structures, which he believed constrained human liberty. In this blog, we will delve deeply into the key ideas and principles that Rousseau lays out in The Social Contract, and examine their relevance to contemporary political theory. We will also explore how the work fits into the broader intellectual context of the Enlightenment and consider how its central ideas about democracy, sovereignty, and the general will remain pertinent in modern discussions about governance and societal organization. What is a social contract? To fully understand Rousseau's The Social Contract, it is crucial to grasp the concept of a social contract itself. The idea of the social contract was not unique to Rousseau. It had been developed by earlier political philosophers such as Thomas Hobbes and Jean-Jacques. However, Rousseau's formulation diverged significantly from his predecessors. A social contract is essentially an agreement among the members of a society to cooperate for mutual benefit. In political theory, it usually implies that individuals give up some personal freedoms in exchange for protection and the maintenance of order by the state. The contract thus represents a shift from the state of nature, a pre-political existence where there is no government or laws, to a structured society governed by laws and political institutions. While Hobbes saw the state of nature as brutish and violent, requiring a strong sovereign to keep individuals in check, Rousseau had a more optimistic view of human nature. He believed that humans in the state of nature were peaceful, isolated, and free, but that society and civilization had corrupted them. Rousseau's social contract, therefore, is an attempt to reconcile the tension between individual freedom and collective governance by proposing a political system based on popular sovereignty and the general will. Rousseau's vision of human nature. Rousseau begins The Social Contract by challenging the assumptions made by earlier political philosophers about human nature. He argues that people in their natural state are fundamentally good and that society is responsible for much of the moral degradation that afflicts humankind. Rousseau's conception of the state of nature contrasts sharply with the views of Hobbes, who believed that humans were naturally selfish and violent. According to Rousseau, in their original, pre-social condition, humans were independent, content, and morally pure. They were motivated by basic needs such as self-preservation and a natural sympathy for others, a concept Rousseau calls pity. However, as humans formed societies and developed social structures such as property, inequality emerged, corrupting human nature. This societal corruption is what Rousseau refers to as the chains that bind individuals. Rousseau's political philosophy is deeply concerned with how humans can regain their lost freedom within a structured society. Rousseau's desire for a return to a more natural state is not a call for an abandonment of society altogether, but rather a radical restructuring of social institutions to align with human beings' true nature. In other words, Rousseau seeks a political order where individuals can maintain their autonomy and moral integrity while still participating in collective life. The general will and popular sovereignty. One of the most distinctive and influential ideas in The Social Contract is Rousseau's concept of the general will. The general will, according to Rousseau, represents the collective will of the people as a whole, aimed at the common good. It is not simply the sum of individual preferences but a collective decision-making process in which individuals, as citizens, pursue the shared interest of the community rather than their own private interests. For Rousseau, the general will is the source of legitimate authority in any political system. Laws and policies that reflect the general will are just and legitimate, whereas those that only serve particular interests are corrupt. In this way, Rousseau develops the idea of popular sovereignty, the notion that the ultimate authority in a society lies with the people themselves, not with a monarch or elite ruling class. A crucial element of Rousseau's theory is that individuals must subordinate their private wills to the general will. This does not mean suppressing their personal interests entirely, but rather aligning them with the common good. In Rousseau's ideal society, individuals become fully autonomous and free by participating in the collective decision-making process, because they are bound only by laws they have themselves created through the expression of the general will. Thus, true freedom, for Rousseau, lies in the collective self-rule of a politically organized community. The social contract and democracy. Rousseau's ideas in the social contract are closely linked to democratic principles, especially his insistence on the role of the people in shaping their own political destiny. Rousseau was a staunch critic of both monarchy and aristocracy, advocating instead for a form of direct democracy in which citizens actively participate in the formulation of laws and policies. However, Rousseau's version of democracy is distinct from the representative democracy that exists in most modern states. In Rousseau's view, sovereignty cannot be delegated or represented, it must reside directly with the people. In this sense, Rousseau's ideal political system would be more akin to a direct democracy, where citizens themselves vote on laws rather than electing representatives to do so on their behalf. Rousseau's radical vision of democracy has been a source of both admiration and criticism. On the one hand, his emphasis on popular sovereignty and direct participation is seen as a powerful defense of democracy and a critique of elitism and authoritarianism. On the other hand, critics have pointed out the practical difficulties of implementing Rousseau's model in large, complex societies. In modern political systems, representative democracy has largely supplanted direct democracy, in part because of the logistical challenges of having all citizens participate directly in the legislative process. Despite these challenges, Rousseau's ideas about democracy have remained influential. His emphasis on active citizen participation and his belief in the moral and political value of collective decision-making have inspired numerous democratic movements throughout history, from the French Revolution to contemporary struggles for participatory democracy. Freedom, equality, and the social contract. Freedom is at the heart of Rousseau's political philosophy, and one of his central concerns in the social contract is to explain how individuals can remain free while living under political authority. For Rousseau, freedom does not simply mean the absence of constraints or the ability to do whatever one wants. Instead, true freedom is found in the ability to live according to one's own will, but in a way that respects the collective will of the community. In this sense, Rousseau distinguishes between what he calls natural liberty, which refers to the freedom individuals possess in the state of nature, and civil liberty, which refers to the freedom that individuals enjoy as members of a political community. When individuals enter into the social contract, they give up some of their natural liberty in exchange for civil liberty. However, this loss of natural liberty is compensated by the gains that come from living in a just society governed by laws that reflect the general will. Equality is also a central theme in Rousseau's political philosophy. Rousseau believed that inequality was one of the most corrupting forces in society, and much of the social contract is concerned with creating a political system that ensures equality among citizens. Rousseau distinguishes between natural inequalities, such as differences in physical strength or intelligence, and moral or political inequalities, which arise from social structures like property ownership and class distinctions. While natural inequalities are unavoidable, Rousseau argues that political inequalities are artificial and must be eliminated to create a just society. In Rousseau's vision, a well-functioning social contract would ensure both freedom and equality. By participating in the formulation of laws that reflect the general will, individuals are able to live freely, while the laws themselves ensure that all citizens are treated equally. Rousseau's emphasis on equality as a fundamental principle of the social contract has had a lasting influence on modern political thought, particularly in discussions of social justice, democracy, and human rights. The role of the legislator. In the social contract, Rousseau introduces the concept of the legislator, a figure who plays a crucial role in shaping the political institutions of a society. According to Rousseau, the legislator is a wise and virtuous individual who helps establish the laws and institutions that will govern the community. The legislator's task is to design a political system that aligns with the general will and ensures the common good. Importantly, the legislator is not an authoritarian figure who imposes their will on the people. Instead, their role is to guide the community in creating a political system that reflects the will of the people. The legislator must have a deep understanding of human nature and the social dynamics that shape society, but they must also be able to distance themselves from their own personal interests and desires. The idea of the legislator is one of the more controversial aspects of Rousseau's political theory. Critics have argued that it introduces an element of elitism into what is otherwise a radically democratic vision. If the legislator is a figure of exceptional wisdom and virtue, does this not imply that ordinary citizens are incapable of governing themselves? Furthermore, the role of the legislator raises questions about the balance between expert knowledge and popular sovereignty in a democratic society. Despite these concerns, Rousseau's concept of the legislator highlights an important tension in democratic theory: the need for both popular participation and competent, informed leadership. In contemporary debates about governance, we can see echoes of this tension in discussions about the role of technocrats, experts, and political elites in shaping policy. Rousseau's legacy and contemporary relevance. Rousseau's The Social Contract has had an enduring impact on political theory and practice. His ideas about popular sovereignty, the general will, and the relationship between individual freedom and political authority have influenced numerous political movements and intellectual traditions, including republicanism, socialism, and anarchism. One of the most significant historical moments shaped by Rousseau's ideas was the French Revolution. The revolutionaries drew heavily on Rousseau's concept of popular sovereignty and his critique of monarchy and aristocracy. The Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen, one of the foundational documents of the Revolution, reflects Rousseau's belief in equality and the importance of collective self-governance. Rousseau's influence extends beyond the revolutionary period. His ideas about democracy and political participation continue to resonate in contemporary debates about governance, particularly in discussions of participatory democracy, direct democracy, and social justice. Many modern political theorists have drawn on Rousseau's work to critique existing political systems and propose alternative models of governance that emphasize citizen participation and the pursuit of the common good. At the same time, Rousseau's ideas have also been subject to criticism. Some critics argue that Rousseau's emphasis on the general will can be used to justify authoritarianism or the suppression of dissent. If the general will is seen as infallible and synonymous with the common good, it could be used to silence minority voices or justify repressive measures in the name of unity and collective welfare. This critique has led some to see Rousseau's political philosophy as a precursor to totalitarianism, though others argue that such interpretations misrepresent Rousseau's intentions. Conclusion: the enduring significance of the social contract. Rousseau's The Social Contract remains one of the most important works of political philosophy. Its exploration of the relationship between individual freedom, collective governance, and the role of the state continues to inspire and challenge readers. Rousseau's vision of a society based on equality, popular sovereignty, and the general will has had a lasting impact on democratic thought and continues to influence debates about political theory, human rights, and social justice. While The Social Contract raises difficult questions about the balance between individual autonomy and collective decision-making, its core message, that human beings are capable of governing themselves and creating a just, equitable society, continues to resonate today. Whether in debates about participatory democracy, the role of experts in governance, or the nature of political equality, Rousseau's ideas remain relevant, offering a powerful critique of political systems that fail to live up to their ideals and a hopeful vision of what democracy could be. In an era where political polarization and distrust in government are widespread, Rousseau's insistence on the importance of the general will and the collective pursuit of the common good offers valuable insights into how societies can move beyond narrow self-interest and build more inclusive, democratic institutions. Through The Social Contract, Rousseau invites us to rethink our assumptions about politics and governance, and to imagine new ways of organizing society that prioritize freedom, equality, and the well-being of all. Thanks for watching this video. Keep watching more of my videos. Please subscribe our channel. Don't forget like and share this video.